Good evening, world. It's your boy Lauren Jones. I'm the fill-in host tonight for Elevating Men. We got a live show tonight. We're going to be talking about an important topic: generational trauma and its impact on mental health. So please hit the like, the share button, subscribe to us on YouTube. Go to elevatingmen.org. Hop on the website. It's gonna be fun tonight. So get your popcorn and buckle up your seatbelts. We getting ready to get it cracking. Facebook, what's happening, man? It's your boys from Elevate Men back in the building for another Monday night session of you know what we do here. We get busy and we have dynamic conversations, man. It has been a minute since I've been on the show. Y'all been on here cutting up. I'm like, man, look at these gentlemen, man, getting busy in the
Am I turning it the wrong landscape or something? Like,
I don't know what's going on with your camera, brother, but we live. There you go. Stay right there, Neo. You got it right there, Neo. Don't move the camera. We good. So, to all my Facebook family, what's up, y'all? How y'all been, man? It's been a minute. But
I've been great.
before we get started, you know, I gotta introduce y'all to the brethren. So we're gonna start to the right of me. LBZ, LeBron Barnes, LeBron the Motivator. What other nicknames you got, man? Talk to the people, man.
Listen, it is just so good to be back in front of this blessed people's faces. I'm telling you what, man, it's just the past conversations with AB and Andrew and everybody's been on. It's been very impactful, very powerful, and I'm just glad to be back in the part of this amazing group of men.
Man, what's up, brother? Down to the bottom below, Mr. Barnes, we got Andrew Boykin, aka Dinner and Dialogue, aka Resting 2050. Talk to the people, sir.
Hey man, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful time to be in front of everybody. So I'm just glad to see y'all's face in the place.
See, glad to see our faces in the place. Okay, and to the left of him, below me, we got the man, Big Unc, brother Marcus in the building. Hey, man, talk to the people, sir.
Now, I'm just glad to be back and be able to continue to be a part of this. Oh God, these grapes are delicious.
Oh
And
no!
then the grapes was so damn good, he just completely fell off the screen. He just got to chomping and hit the he had to get off the screen, man. I get it. We gonna drop my man's back in here in a little bit. I think he's back in the building now. Let's see. There he is. Dang, bro, them grapes must have been good. You had to fall off like that? Man, a couple housekeeping notes. We had our monthly men's breakfast last weekend. I didn't get a chance to make it. I don't even want to talk about it. Why I didn't get to make it, but I didn't get to make it. So Andrew, LaRon, talk to the people to tell everybody how it went.
So hey, it was beautiful. You're talking about the men's breakfast, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Big Unc and Mike Long, brother Long, they showed out, man. They talked to us about. I mean, the conversation just started with Andrew talking about his son, and they were talking about the need for what is it called, rites of passage. And wow, it elevated from there, brothers. We moved into the circle, and we didn't come out until magic had happened. It was good. We got a plan. Put it that way. We got a plan.
Hey, if you left with a plan, you did all right. LBZ, were you there Saturday?
I didn't get to show up Saturday. Not at this one. I ended up having a conference. Trust me, I definitely wanted to be there, but I was not able to make it this one. I was at
a conference. Tell us about it, brother.
Well, it was the Become the Better You conference. A lot of it was very powerful. Met some very powerful people. But I tell you, all in all, man, associations matter, and it's definitely one of the things. Even at the men's breakfast, what AB was talking about, being associated with men like that, with people who are vulnerable and open and willing to share and give what they have to offer in order to help other men with dealing with mental health issues, and just kind of bringing a community together. So I mean, like, that's one of the things that Elevating Men does every single time. So I can only assume that it was nothing less last week.
So what you trying to tell me is when we elevating over here, we also elevating over there. Is that what you trying to tell me?
That's all I'm trying to tell you, man. We elevating men.
Hey, I love it, man. Another important housekeeping note. September 28th, people, Elevating Men is hosting a mental health town hall at the Robert Mohart Center, 3200 Wayne. Doors open at 9. We will go until 2. Just to give you a brief synopsis of what to expect, we will have a panel of licensed therapists. We will also have a panel of community leaders. This is an opportunity for your voice to be heard. Your voice to be heard. So I expect everybody in the building. You can go to Eventbrite /Elevating Men. Sign up. It's free 99, people. Now I know sometimes when we do free stuff, you like, I'm gonna sign up, but I don't know if I'm really gonna go. You need to be in the building. This is an opportunity to connect, to network, to let your voice be heard. You do not want to miss out on this event. This is going to be momentous for the city. And so I know if it's momentous for the city, everybody that's in attendance will get a small piece of that. And I'm telling you, if we can just galvanize, if we can connect and get in the spaces with each other and have open, honest dialogue with each other, I promise you we can move mountains. So please be in the building. Again, that is Saturday, September 28th from 10 to 2, but the doors open at 9. Because I know how some of y'all like to be fashionably late. No, I need you to be on time, because when we hit the start button, we going. So please be in the building. Facebook world, thank you for being here. Please like, please share everything. If you can't be here tonight, but you want to catch the replay, you can go to our Elevating Men page, or you can go to youtube.com, look up Elevating Men. You will find us there. Hey, you can watch all the past episodes if you have time. There's a lot of content out there, so we got, so take it as you can take it. But fellas, y'all ready to get to it?
Let's get to it.
Yes, sir.
To it. So tonight, fellas, generational trauma and its impact on mental health, right? It is something that is a hot button topic in our communities. It's a hot button topic in the mental health circles, because we're starting to understand that the issues that we deal with from a mental health perspective, they precede us. We're talking about our parents, our grandparents, our great parent, or our great grandparents, our great grandparents. Like, this is not something that's brand new, and the way we live now is actually things that were in process 50, 75, 100, 150 years ago, right? I think one of the easiest topics when we talk about generational trauma, right, is to talk about slavery and how we were taken from other areas of the country brought here to build this country, but weren't given anything that we were promised in return. You know, the whole 40 acres and a mule mentality. You know, our language was stripped from us. So the English that we spoke is not our natural dialect. And so we are now here in America, and we struggling. We're still trying to find ourselves. We're still trying to find our place in this country. And so we're at an interesting point right now, right? We're talking about the presidential election. We have another woman in office that's, or not in office, but a woman that, well, she actually is in office. She's the vice president, you know, running for president. And of course, like America likes to do, since she's got a little bit of black, she got a whole bunch of black in her. You know, she is fully black. And so she has been coined as the new champion for the people. But let's kind of go backwards a little bit. And AB, I want to lead off with you as our seasoned veteran here. From your perspective, how do you feel that the generations that preceded you has impacted the way you live today?
How do I feel that the generations that have preceded me have impacted the way I live today? Yeah, I was taught what they were taught. I know what they learned to know, and I pass it on. You know, let me give you a different perspective. We talk about generational traumas and generational pains. How about this? How about yesterday is dead and gone? Those generations that we could talk about and we could point to, yeah, they lived through their trauma and they passed it on. How about this? How about we are the generation that are about to pass on trauma, our trauma, not their trauma. They're dead. We now own that trauma. We now own our trauma. We now own whatever's inside of us, be it traumatic or not. So therefore, this mental health thing that we need to be studying is our mental health and our mental health of what we are passing on. History of yesterday is gone. History starts with us, meaning tomorrow's generation, which might be talking about generational trauma, might be talking about us if we don't talk about us.
I love it. I love it. Big Unc, man, I'm gonna come to you. You know, if you can kind of add layers to what AB talked about in regards to, let's just move all the stuff that happened in the past and just live in the present, and the generational traumas that we have already passed to our kids in some capacity and will continue to pass if we don't correct some of our thought processes and some of our behavior. Speak to the people about kind of how you feel about that, and maybe even what steps we can take to stop passing the generational trauma on to the future generations.
Okay. So first off, the scripture that he referenced is to let the dead worry about the dead. We can't keep concerning ourselves with, and it's not to say to just forget it, because it's a very real thing that did happen. But we're here now. If you keep looking back, being concerned about the dead, you'll never take care of the things of the living. And the struggle that they had is not the struggle that we have now. But
You're breaking up, Big Hunk. You can hear us.
That doesn't take away from the. Yeah.
Start from the struggle that we
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
start from the struggle that they had is different from the struggle that we have.
So the struggles that our predecessors had is different than the struggles that we have today. The tools that they had are different than the tools that we have today. And a lot of people say that they didn't have tools, but the fact is they did. And they pulled together in a lot of ways. Black Wall Street was created during that time period. We had so many black innovators and inventors at that time. But now we have a foothold in a lot of legal positions. We have education backing us. We have technology backing us, and we also have our freedom to a certain extent. We're not free, but we do have our freedom to a certain extent. So, like I told my little brother, I said my mom and dad did not give us all the tools that we needed to become men, but we're 30 years old and plus. So now it's on us. It's our duty to overcome anything that is lingering from the past.
This is true. LaRon L. Barnes.
Yeah.
As a father of 4?
Yes, sir.
As a father of 4, how do we even recognize sometimes that we are passing traumas on to our children that they, for all intents and purposes, will pass to their children? Do you think that we even recognize that we're doing this, or is it, or do we recognize it but we don't know how to fix it, so we just keep pushing it out there?
Both of them.
Talk to me.
Some of us recognize it, but it's our own trauma that we're having to deal with. So how can we stop our children from dealing with our traumatic issues if we haven't even found out how to stop dealing with our traumatic issues? So that it's both of them. It's, for example, thinking about neglect. My mama wasn't really supportive here. And sometimes that produces a parent or an individual who was more supportive. And sometimes, hey, listen, I had to get it, so you got to get it just as well. So sometimes we can pass down generational trauma and different generational blessings. I was reading this book called Heal by a gentleman by the name of Sakoni Prince. Very powerful book. And as my wife has it in the car, I wanted to show it. It was very powerful. But one of the things that he's talking about is the inner child and how each of us have this trauma that we have dealt with as a child that has affected our decisions now. Again, some people, because of their parents wasn't there for them or they felt neglected, they say, I will never, ever allow my child to be neglected because I was neglected. And then there's some parents who says my parent wasn't there. And they was an alcoholic and they drunk. And so now they take on that type of trauma and they become an alcoholic. And now we got generational curses passing down and down and down, even unto the 4th generation. So I'll say that when it comes to dealing with trauma, before we can try to heal anybody else, we got to heal from our own trauma. And I've discovered myself personally, the way that we do heal from trauma is we have to identify what traumatized us. Why are we traumatized? What actually happened in that point of life that made us feel some type of way? Because trauma, what happens is the residue of trauma, it follows us into our adulthood. And some of us are still big little kids. Some of us hasn't been able to get our emotions under control. We still snapping out because our parents snapped out of us, or I'm not going to let them talk to me like that because I was taught like that when I was young, so I ain't letting this happen to me anymore. So again, when we are in a situation like that and we haven't been healed ourselves, it's obvious it's going to pass down to the generation on top of generations on top of generations until somebody in that generation like us, what we're doing with Elevating Men, we say we're going to do something to stop it and change it.
I got you. Andrew, I'm going to come back to you. Why do you feel like it's so hard for us to change the narrative and do things different than maybe our parents or our grandparents did? Because a lot of times, if you really are observant, we repeat a lot of the things that we were taught when we were brought up. We just kind of repeat a lot of the same things without any thought about why we're doing them. Should we try to be different? We just do them. Why is it so challenging for us to break away from certain things that we've been traumatized about, but yet we do it again anyway?
So one of the things that I like to talk about specifically, we touched upon this at the men's breakfast, at the end of the men's breakfast. You'll find that a lot of people reference when bad things are going on, pain is going on, dark times. They're going through dark times, and they're going through a season of darkness. Or like right now, we're just in a season of darkness, and it is up to us that know the difference and know the truth and know the way to bring people into the light. Well, it's my opinion that is one of the ways that we continuously perpetuate our trauma and our pain, because we are so black, because we are so dark, because we are so colorized. And I just put a thing on the comments.
Yeah.
I was Googling while you were talking the black and white doll baby test. And for those of you that are not familiar with it, they someone in the 19 whenevers, I think 1940s.
Yeah.
Psychologists actually took a black baby doll, a white baby doll, and they put 2-year-olds in front of it and asked them to choose which one they wanted. And the majority chose the white baby doll. And then the question was asked, why did you choose that one? And the standard answer was something similar to, well, that's the good doll, and the other one is the bad doll. Well, it's just my belief. It's no longer my opinion. It's my own personal belief that we perpetuate this pain of darkness being so bad that we don't recognize why we work so hard just for validation, just to be seen as good enough, because the dark is bad and the light is good, where we strive to get to. But what we fail to realize is no matter where we're striving, how hard we strive, when we strive, or whatever, we can never get rid of this darkness. We can never get rid of this darkness. So many of us, we wake up wondering, why am I so cursed? Why am I so this, that, the other? When will I ever be in the light?
I see that slip right now.
And we don't recognize that. So we're forever trying to run from ourselves. We're forever trying to run from our power. We're forever trying to run to the better side.
I tell you, it's interesting. Sometimes I'll say good things happen on accident, right? It wasn't necessarily where we were going, but we ended up there. I'm for those of you that don't know, I'm married to a pretty little snow bunny myself. And originally, well, let me tell the backstory a little as quick as I can. So I was raised in the city. My mom moved us out to Johnson County when I was 10 and a half. So I went from a predominantly black neighborhood to an all-white neighborhood. And let me tell you what a culture shock. But as I began to integrate myself, because I was where I was, the thought process of color kind of went away for a while, and then when I turned 18, I had an experience that I moved on from, and I met at that time, who would be my future wife, but I was in a different headspace at that point. It was, I'm this proud black man, and so me being with this white girl, I felt like I was sticking it to the man. I was sticking, look, I got one of yours, and it was a very, very braggadocious, ignorant thought process. And so, but I fast forward to now, and I'm like, all of the great things that have come out of that, the challenges of not living in a world that is predominantly one color, having children that are biracial, and understanding how the world views them, but how you want to teach them how to live in the world. Where color is not the focal point is a big challenge in my house, because as my kids experience different things, they come back to me with questions, and sometimes I don't have all the answers. So I have to tell them, hey, let me go to the brain trust, because I don't necessarily have the answers for this one, and I can lean on brothers like AB, brothers like LaRon, brothers like Andrew Johnson, to make sure that my head is in the right space when I'm having those conversations, because there are challenges that come with being black in America. And so, that's of course the long story short. But I do understand that, before I'm a black man, I'm just a man. I'm not going to allow you to categorize me as just this. I choose who I get to be. I choose who I am. That is not your choice. That is my choice. And so it is important for me to set the right tone for my kids so they can set the right tone for their kids, so on and so forth. Because what a beautiful world that we live in, when we could give two shits about the skin color of the person that we choose to love, but we love them for all of the other important things that make the world a better place. LaRon, I know I kind of rambled for a minute. I want you to jump in and just kind of add some value to that from your perspective.
No, I would just say, man, what it really comes down to, as we talk about trauma and the impact that it has on our mental health, at the end of the day, each and every last one of us have a measure of trauma that we've dealt with, whether it's dealing with our doubts, our fears, our insecurities, our limiting beliefs, or maybe some even worse trauma happened where we were being abused, molested, raped, and that's crazy. Kidnapped. Can we add that? Because people get kidnapped and survive it. Praise God that they come out and tell the story, and people's lives are truly changed. The thing about trauma is that I truly believe that all trauma can be healed. So it's just the way in which we get healed. Some takes therapy. Some people go through the spiritual healing. They go to the church. They have a place where they put their faith in, put their worries, put their trauma, their burdens on. And it comes down to saying, first of all, yeah, each and every last one of us has trauma, but I won't allow my trauma to bring me drama. And a lot of people, trauma brings them drama because they bring their problems into situations with people that they don't even have to bring it into. But because we have our own issues, we bleed on other people, right? And so, honestly, what it comes down to is saying, you know what? What is this trauma doing to me? How is it affecting me? What kind of disease and infection has it caused? And you can always tell when there's an infection, because most of the people that when we have an infection, most of the time when we have an infection, it's most of the other people can feel the infection on your life, because when we have an infection in our own life, it's transmitted. We transmit that. Hey, I'm infected and I'm bothered, so I'm gonna put that on you. I'm angry. I'm upset. I don't like men because all these men did me wrong. I didn't have a father in my home, so now I feel this way about them. I mean, again, each and every last one of us are dealing with some trauma, and we don't have to deal with it alone. Get some people around you that actually care about you, that actually care about your mental health, that care about your mental health, because it's our mental health with the state that we are in right now, with the way that the world's going in right now. That's why so many people are committing suicide. That's why so many people are dealing with depression, because we're not having the conversations. And then when we are having the conversations behind closed doors, it takes more than just a conversation. It takes some personal one-on-ones, what we are actually doing with Elevating Men. It takes us having a group conversation, but then having people there, like the therapist, right? Like the mental health department that we have with this company, with Caleb and all the people that we deal with. So again, when it comes to mental health and dealing with trauma, know what
extent, what level, how deep the trauma that you are dealing with is, and then go to the individual that can help you, whether it be a psychologist, whether it be a coach, whether it be a church. You just need to get under a spiritual leader that can help navigate you through this thing called life.
I love it, man. I love it. Before I jump back into this, I want to thank everybody that's tuning in. MLB, I know you said good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Thanks for tapping in, for supporting us. Larnell Jones, I'm not even going to repeat your comment. Nobody likes you. You have 0 friends. Jesus loves you too. To all my YouTube followers, thanks for tuning in. Please like and share this information. These conversations are so important. They're so important just to have this open dialogue back and forth. Please drop as many comments as you want into the thread as we see them pop in. We will respond to them in real time as long as they're applicable to the conversation. So please don't hesitate to drop a comment based off of our conversation, whatever your opinion, thought process is. Drop it in, share it with us, man. We want to mix everybody's thoughts into this pot of gumbo so we can have it taste some real good. So, but I love what you said there, LaRon. Something that I took out of that I kind of want to talk about is therapy, right? Because for most of us, our therapy has been church, right? That's where we went to get our therapy. And, it was taboo to talk about going to see a psychologist and laying on somebody's couch and pouring your guts out. Some of it was because we just didn't have that layer of trust. Most of it was probably because we didn't have that layer of trust to just go talk to some random stranger about our issues, even though the right stranger would get us to talk about our issues all day, every day, right? We go to work, we gossip, we talk about our problems, we talk about everybody else's problems to try to push everybody away from our problems. But I want to talk about therapy because I'm so proud of our generation and really, honestly, probably our kids' generation that recognize that, yeah, sometimes I need therapy. I need to go talk to somebody. I need to get these feelings off of my chest, and I need to have somebody just kind of walk with me and talk with me and hold my hand and give me some alternatives to maybe what our own decisions are, and just be a guide in a sense to navigate some of those unhealthy, those toxic thoughts that drive toxic behavior, right? And so, AB, I wanna come to you with this because my perspective growing up is like my father, my uncles, my grandparents. We didn't talk about mental health. We pushed it under the rug. We're not gonna talk about Lil Bobby. We just we suppressed it as much as we could, and sometimes it came out still in a negative way. But it was very, very suppressed. They don't. It ain't nothing wrong with them. We just tried to protect that thought and that person. What was your experience as a younger man? Because you're still young. What was your experience as a younger man, and the thoughts about going to therapy, or even therapy being something that was an avenue for us to participate in?
Therapy was not a word that was widely used in my circles. And the reason why therapy was not a word widely used in my circles, my research learned that my parents, they did not go to therapy or talk to anyone, or in this case, talk too much about anything that was going on inside their heart, inside their mind, and especially inside their household, is because they were not going to get the job if they were deemed mentally unstable. They were not going to get the job if they were deemed a possible threat. They were not going to get the job, if anything, that that person who they were going to, who had that ink pen, who was actually therapeuticizing them, was going to write bad about them and submit to their potential employer, because they actually, some of them actually had to go through a psychological test or psychological exam as part of the interview. And then there were certain jobs that required you to have, as time passed on, that required you to have security clearances. And you couldn't get a certain security clearance with something mental on your background. So there were various reasons why we did not talk to anybody or talk too much about our pains. And today, that is now confused with the angry black man. So now the tests are trying to find out, are you an angry black man? And I am trying to suppress my anger and my pain, because that's none of your business. Just give me the job. And you're making me angrier by asking me these stupid questions.
God, he just driving the knife just all up in my chest, because I don't feel like that mentality is gone. Even with our generation, I think that mentality still sits there and festers its ugly head anytime that it gets an opportunity. LaRon, before I come to you, because you have an important piece of this, or at least I believe that you do, that can provide some insight. But before I come to you, for those of you that have just tuned into the show, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate every viewer that comes and hangs with us. Even if you just hanging with us for 5 minutes, man, we appreciate you. September 28th, Elevating Men is hosting a mental health town hall. We are inviting you to come to join us, to share your pain, to talk about your journey as we try to tackle this mental health crisis together. We will have 2 panel discussions where we will have community leaders, we will have licensed therapists coming to the building. I want to send a special shout out to our sponsors. We have the Center for African American Health. We have Aries Trucking. We have The Restoration, that guy right there. We have Williams Financial Group, KC Resolve. We've got a lot of outstanding people that will be in the building. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. So if you need to use the bathroom, go quick. If you need to grab a drink, go quick. And we will be right back.
Getting your CDL is more than just earning a certificate. It's about creating a balanced life and prioritizing what matters most. At Aries CDL Institute, we understand the importance of mental health, work-life balance, and spending quality time with your family. We're here to guide you into a rewarding career that not only supports your financial goals, but also allows you the flexibility to be there for your loved ones. Let us help you take the wheel of your future, because a fulfilling career starts with a healthy balance.
Hi, I'm Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas, and right now it's more important than ever to come together and support one another as a community and talk about something that affects each and every one of us, mental health. It's why I'm inviting you to join us for a special mental health town hall on September 28th at 10 a.m. at the Mohart Center. There we'll have mental health professionals, advocates, policymakers discussing topics of stigma surrounding mental health, barriers to access, and we'll work to create an actionable plan to address the mental health crisis in Kansas City. Let's break the stigma and build a healthier and stronger Kansas City together.
Hi, my name is A.L. Johnson with Elevating Men. There's a mental health crisis in Kansas City, and on Saturday, September 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mohart Multipurpose Center, we're going to have a mental health town hall. The goal is for us to bring together mental health advocates, professionals, lawmakers, and the general public to address these issues. We need to see you there.
Hey, enough said, right? Enough said. You had three different commercials there. He had a trucking company. The trucking industry has always been one of the worst when we're talking about a work-home balance. Always on the road. You know why? Because that's where you get the money when you stay out on the road. Mayor Lucas, one of the city leaders, focusing on mental health and understanding the mental health crisis. And then, of course, we had one of our brothers, A.L. Johnson, along with our other brother, Mike Johnson, just kind of talking about the event. Man, let me tell you, you guys do not want to miss this event. I promise. Just want to talk about a couple of other sponsors that we have. Swope Health, City of Kansas City, National Congress of Black Women. So look, we all in this together, right? It's not
Full
just
Employment Council.
Full Employment Council, Swope Health, Reach Health. Yeah, we all in this together, y'all. We are all in this together, and so September 28th, 10 a.m. Do not miss this event. Bring your brother, your uncle, your auntie, your cousins, your best friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend to come out, join us. It's going to be a momentous event, Kansas City. I promise you, you do not want to miss this. Again, September 28th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mohart Center, 3200 Wayne. Mark it on your calendars right now. Share that calendar invite with your friend. You can go to eventbrite.com/elevatingmen and register tonight. As soon as we get off of this show, register tonight. LaRon,
yes,
I did not lose my train of thought because Andrew said something that triggered something, and so I wanted to come to you. As a believer, we have all grown up to hear Jesus is our therapy.
Mm-hmm.
He is the Alpha, the Omega, the truth, the beginning, the end. We hear all of these different things that Jesus is or should be for us.
Mm-hmm.
How has the church integrated other forms of therapy in order for people to get the help that they need?
Absolutely. It's very interesting that you asked that question, and we're having this conversation because actually on October the 19th at 9:30 till 3, we actually have a mental health conference, Removal of the Mask, Superhero Syndrome. And a lot of churches, we really don't hear about mental health. We don't really hear, but our church actually believes in it. We have a tagline in church that we actually sell that says, I need Jesus and therapy, right? Because the truth about it is that God has graced people with gifts. Everyone is given gifts. And some people, God has given the gift to be a therapist, and they're anointed for that calling. And so at the same time, if we disregard the gifts and the anointing that God gives men, we'll unconsciously disregard God. So it's a thing to where at the end of the day, that people are meant for people. God said it was not meant for men to be alone. He wasn't talking about just men and women. He said men means the human species. At one point, it was only Adam. Adam was the only individual man on earth, and the rest of it was animals, and he named it. But he said that two are better than one, because when one is cold, the other one can warm him up. What the concept was this. We were never meant to do it alone. And it's okay. We should have our spirituality. We should believe that we can be healed and we will be healed. But at the end of the day, the same reason why you would get a therapist when you are mentally sick is the same reason why you get a doctor when you're physically sick. If you don't tell the doctor that I have a broken bone and I'm going to let it heal on itself because Jesus is going to heal it, then don't tell the mental health therapist that. At the end of the day, God has graced every one of us with gifts. Those doctors, those lawyers, those teachers, those therapists. And Jesus is the way. But he's actually put us people here that can help us navigate that way when it comes to mental health and different things like that.
Man, I love that because it's just a different perspective, right? It's such a struggle to balance the spiritual world and the earthly world, right?
Come on.
And I think that, churches have always had a tough time navigating that, just kind of based off the faith and the doctrine that they prescribe to. And so I love the way you talked about that. I think that's a beautiful mesh, and it's also a way to bridge the gap instead of pushing people away.
Come on.
Which I think that was Christ's intent, was to bring the people together. Red or yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight, right?
Yes, right.
And so I definitely appreciate, that perspective, because not all churches are like that, and that's okay. But I think it's super important for the church as I'm gonna call it the Mecca for Black people, right? It's important, I think, for the church to continue to be that guide, that light, in the midst of all of the darkness that we live in,
That darkness word again.
Hey man, you mind your business and you stay over there.
I'll just add this, that don't be so heavenly bound that you're not earthly good. Don't be so. I'm very spiritual, Brother Lauren, but I'm not stupid. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that there's people down here. For us, it was God. Jesus doesn't look. God doesn't. He says, "Depend on me, trust me by faith." At the end of the day, there's people down here that we're supposed to be able to trust by sight, right? There's people right here in the physical world, and we all need each other at the end of the day. And if we try to keep it, as you say, bro, outside of the church, well, it's only Jesus can heal you, then we're fooling ourselves. And what it does is it adds to more trauma, because when God can say, we need people, you say, I only need you. That's like the story when the man on the boat, when like 5 different boats came past, and he said, hey, well, when the man finally passed away because he didn't get saved when these 5 boats came past, he said, God gonna save me. And then after a while, the man drowned. He went to heaven and he said, God, why didn't you save me? He said, I sent 5 boats, you big dummy. Why didn't you take it? But he didn't take the boat. So sometimes God will give us lifelines, but we got to take it, because if we don't, we'll die spiritually, mentally, and emotionally.
So what you're describing for me is that a lot of people are talking about this buzzword, these buzzwords called mental health, but they don't know what's ill inside of them.
That's
they
exactly
don't know what sickness is. I mean, you mentioned, if you got a broken arm, you go and say, hey, I got a broken arm. If you got a broken mind, you say, hey, I got a broken mind. However, they don't know exactly where the mind is broken. And we're telling them also, keep your circle small. And you're telling them that you need people. Yes. That tear right there says, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to trust, who to trust, why to trust. I don't know what's wrong with me. So therefore, when I go to this therapist, they're going to ask me, okay, so what brings you here? Well, I'm having a hard time at home. I'm having a hard time with my job. I'm having just a hard time just breathing. Well, when are you having? They're gonna try and ask all these questions, but they can only go so many sessions before your pocket says, you know what, I can't afford this. And I know that you're just trying to whittle down to the first cause of why I am what I am, and I don't even know. So imagine if we started teaching people how to listen to what's deep inside of them. And the only way we can listen to what's deep inside of them is because sometimes it comes out of their mouth or sometimes it comes out of their actions. Listening is not always verbal, but we can hear them if we are listening, and we can help them hear them if we are listening and we know their language. It's like, dude, why did you just do that? Do what? You just did. I did. Really? I didn't recognize it. It's just something that I always do. Well, I felt some kind of way when you did that. Did y'all feel some kind of way? Yeah, hell, damn. Oh, man, y'all soft niggas. What's up, man? Get on, go on with that. But I don't want, because it's normal to me. My behavior is my behavior because that's what got me here. That's what's sustaining me. And it's my comfort zone. And I don't want to challenge that right now because I don't know what else to do if I don't have it.
Yeah. Ooh, that's deep. Boy, that's deep. Shout out to Shell 76. They said that they will be in the building on 9/28. Hey, we'll be looking for you. Thank you so much for preparing to attend the event. Niecy Houston, I think this dropped in when you were talking, but she said perfectly said. Latrice Tucker, hey Treese. AB, she loves that. AB, shout out to Latrice Tucker. When I say she's a citizen. She's a citizen. Like, she has supported us from day one. We love you. We appreciate all your support as we've been on this journey for the last 3 years. So thank you, Latrice, for tuning in once again. Appreciate you, girl. Melvin Brown, he said it becomes conflicting when you have one side saying, hold on, and the other side saying, let's go. Right? It kind of talks a lot to what AB was saying, where, you know, we create these natural oxymorons, and then we wonder why we're stuck. Because one side is saying, one hand is saying this, and the other hand is saying that. And so we feel stuck in the middle. You know, that game of, what they call it, double dutch. Double dutch, right? Where you just sitting there and the ropes are going and you like, oh, I'm trying to jump in, but I don't know when to jump in. And then when you do, your feet get tangled and then the rope stops. Yeah. You know, and then we kind of go back to being afraid again. We go back to being afraid again, you know, because, well, look what happened when I tried to jump in. It didn't work. And so then we just go back into that shell, right? There's nobody here to help me at all. What were you going to say, AB?
Melvin Brown just got finished saying, but I believe most men have an issue going to a therapist like they do going to the medical doctor. There's always hesitancy and reluctance. You know, that hesitancy and reluctance, for me, says that if you don't know what my real problem is, you're going to do your job as quickly and as efficiently as you can, because you got 30 other patients out in the waiting room who you can't afford to give me 25 hours to find out what my real problem is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you medication for that anxiety. I'm going to give you something to calm your mind down until we see each other again. I'm going to give you a fix, a temporary fix. And we don't like that temporary fix. We never have liked that temporary fix. And that temporary fix always reminds us of that syphilis experiment. And we just get paranoid and we get angrier because no one is listening. But no one is really listening because they don't have time to listen, because we have not actually formulated our thought clearly enough to tell them what to listen for or to. True. Because we still don't know.
Yeah. I tell you, one of the interesting things that I have learned as I have progressed as a human being is emotional intelligence. And sometimes we could still slip, right? We could still slip a little bit. Like today, you know, I got a cold, and so I'm talking to my wife, and I'm like, oh my God, man, my lips are chapped all day, and my throat is dry. And she's like, man, you just got a cold, man. Like, stop acting like a baby. The emotional unintelligent Lauren would have got pissed off, and I would have shut down. And I would have been like, see, this is why I don't express myself to nobody, because then you call me a baby. But the growing Lauren in emotional intelligence said, yeah, baby, I know I'm being a little fussy today. Thank you for bearing with me. I don't feel good. But thank you for bearing with me, making sure that I am okay, because a lot of times what our expectations for what people are going to provide for us don't match at all. And so it's like, well, I just wanted you to rub my chest for a minute, baby. And what she did, she went and she cooked the family a meal and made sure the kids was in the bath so they could be ready for school. And your little dumbass sitting in the corner talking about, but you didn't rub on my chest, baby. So you didn't take care of me. Nah, she took care of everything else though. So why don't you just go sit in your little corner and cry if that's what you need to do, or rather say, baby, you know what? I appreciate you taking care of everything while I'm not feeling good. Thank you for taking care of that, so I can sit here and feel however I'm feeling. And I promise you, if you say it a certain way, after she's done doing all that, she's probably gonna come to bed and be like, "So, babe, tell me how you feeling." But you have to be emotionally intelligent in your responses, right? And I'm really trying to teach my children that level of emotional intelligence, right? Don't bottle it all inside. Don't hold it all in. Let it out, because the more you bottle inside, it has to come out at some point. And if
So
you,
imagine this. Imagine
yeah,
this, Lauren. Imagine the way that I think I heard you, and I can't repeat it verbatim. You were feeling some kind of way, and she went and cooked dinner and took care of everything and everybody, you know, gave you some space to figure this out. And then you still balled up in that corner saying, "Hey, but I'm feeling some kind of way." And all you had to do was just come rub my chest. Well, rub my chest is a physical touch thing.
yes,
Okay, so she says, okay, that's all I need to do is rub your chest. Well, actually, no, that's not all you need to do, because that's not the problem. The problem is here.
hmm
But I don't know how to express that. I don't know how to express not only that the problem is here, but where this problem came from, because it was not always here. It wasn't here 3 days ago when I was laying beside you in bed. But something happened in between that moment of those 3 days. And this is the something that happened. And this is what triggered me. So this is where it is. And when you rub my chest, even though this is not my chest, yeah. When you pat my head, okay. See, now I'm confused. Now I'm confused. Not only am I confused, I'm confusing her. So this is that mental health that we're crying out for, but we don't necessarily know how to listen to the tears inside and actually put the tears in some kind of understandable fashion that speaks to somebody else's language, not just ours, because we're used to going damn shit and thinking that they understand.
bingo, ding, 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 ding. You are the winner today, sir. Yes, you did eloquently speak to that example. So yes, you were spot on. So thank you for being spot on, sir.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lauren. Real quick. You had mentioned the beauty of your marriage and how that expands, and your children, how you teach them how to embrace who they are.
Mm-hmm.
That is a beautiful thing. And love who they love.
Mm-hmm.
Totally understand that. What I want you to consider as your children grow older, I want you to consider when they enter into the professional world, if they feel at some point in time that they have to work twice as hard as their counterpart, just for the same accolade, just for the same pay, just for the same whatever it is they are trying to achieve. Because sometimes my generation voiced, you know what, I got to work twice as hard. I got to know twice as much. I got to be twice as sharp on my job, because I am forever scrutinized. I never get the pass. They always do. And I need this job. So it's that part that makes a person start to think, what else could it be? I'm smart enough. I have the heart. I'm dedicated. All these physical accolades and mental accolades I've accumulated and have inside of me, and I'm exuding. What else could it be? Maybe I'm just caught in this dark moment.
Okay, I will consider that. People, he does this to me all the time. All the time. He's always asking me to consider something. But he is a brilliant guy, and I will always consider what he says because I have so much profound respect for Mr. Miyagi. So I will consider it. You know I will. Fellas, as we wrap up tonight, we've talked about generational trauma and its impact on mental health, and I will tell you what I absolutely love about this conversation is we made the choice to refuse to live in the past. If you listen to the breadth of this conversation, we made a conscious choice led by AB that we will not live in the past, that we will deal with us. We will not blame those that came before us, and we will do our absolute best not to harm those that come after us. Right? That's the beauty of this hour-long conversation is we came to this conclusion without even trying to. It was just natural. Somebody said something that sparked another thought, and we just started going. And then all of a sudden, I bet you everybody's like, well, what about the generational stuff? We are the generational trauma. That's the point. We are the generational trauma. And if we don't get our shit together, they will be the generational trauma. And we'll just keep perpetuating and perpetuating and perpetuating. And what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. We got to stop doing that. We have to find new solutions to the issues that we face. We need to have open, candid conversations about how we feel. Because the truth of the matter is, if you talk to 10 people, 5 of them probably feel the exact same way you feel. Now put your damn finger down. Now I'm just playing. Go ahead, AB.
So you just got finished asking how we feel. Many people say, how are you? How are you feeling? So they describe how they're feeling. What I want people to start asking is, what do you feel? When did you feel it and when do you feel it? Where do you feel it and where did it start? Why do you feel it? See, there are many questions other than how that can actually pinpoint location, timing, and all that other stuff as to when that pain actually surfaced. And what this September 28th town hall is actually going to do that's different than just conversation is we're not actually talking about mental health, HEALTH. We're talking about mental health, HELP, because there are a lot of professionals out here, and there are a lot of people on this call right now that when something goes wrong with their 19-year-old, with their granddaughter, with their mother, their auntie, they only know what they know. And the question that burns deeply inside of them is, who do I call? And not only when you give me that number of who do I call, what do I say? I don't even know what to tell, how to describe what's even needed. All I can do is just start talking. We don't know who to call. So this conversation will actually hopefully identify mental help. In that room will be Reach, where they're there.
Yeah, Reach Healthcare.
Reach Healthcare, Swope Health, Aries Institute, Trucking Institute, the Full Employment Council, Williams Financial Group, Resolve Counseling Services, Dream Makers, A.L. Johnson Life Insurance, The Restoration, KU Center for African American Health, National Congress of Black Women, Ad Hoc, the Oasis International Church, and you. We don't know your profession, but we need you there so that you can actually tell us. You can call us. You can call me. This is what I do.
Yeah, I love it. I tell you one of the interesting things, right, is I can sit, and AB, you can attest to this. I can sit on the phone with somebody for an hour and you almost forget I'm on the phone because I am an active listener. And then at the end of the conversation, I give this 5-minute spiel, and you was like, damn, I forgot you was even on the phone. How did you take that? How did you take everything I said and put into a 5-minute statement? And I think it's important for all of us to become better active listeners. Stop focusing on trying to fix people and focus on just listening to people, because sometimes they are telling you the fix that they need themselves. However, you're so focused on fixing them that you didn't hear anything that came out of your mouth, nothing that came out of their mouth, because you're too focused on the answer and the solution instead of listening to actually uncover what the issue, what the true issue may be. LaRon, I know you've been sitting there like a student taking notes. I see you jotting down a few words that you want to say. The floor is yours, my brother.
Now, I just wanted to end it with this as far as what I had to say. Before, AB mentioned as far as the therapist and knowing when to go see a therapist. And one of the things that I would say before you actually, obviously it depends on what level of trauma, as we talked about. There's different traumas that we experience as kids. For example, I was told that I was stupid in the second grade, and a trauma that built in me was not believing in me. That is a trauma, because when you don't believe in yourself, there's certain things you won't do, and there's certain things you won't say. There's certain actions you won't take, and it cripples you. Trauma cripples you. So and there's different levels. Again, if somebody was raped versus somebody who was just had a bad childhood, a bad Christmas, and they were traumatized, so now they bring that trauma to their children. And like I said, trauma goes everywhere. But what I would say, the first thing I would do before you consider a therapist, go in that direction. Write it down. Journal. One thing that I do, I discovered, is when I was trying to understand why I was having issues taking action, I was having issues moving forward when it came to me being the success I knew I wanted to be, so that my family can experience success and they will stop suffering financially. And the only reason why they were suffering financially because I was scared to take action, dealing with some childhood trauma that I was unaware of. When I began to write it out, I didn't know what I was saying to myself. And then I discovered this, and this is why you want to write it out, so you can discover what you're saying to yourself. I was saying to myself, I'm not good enough. And I didn't know that I was saying that to myself. That's why I wasn't taking action. I'm not good enough. Ooh, it's not going to work anyhow. Who am I? I don't deserve it. And once I was able to write that down, I was like, whoa, I'm really saying all this to myself. It allowed me to have compassion on myself and actually reframe it and be able to see, hey, that's not real. Why am I saying that? And then I said, why? And then I realized why, because of what was said to me then. Then I was able to start my own healing process. But I had to go and write it down so I can see it. And then I began to talk back to what I wrote down. I began to question it. Is that real? Is that legit? Is that true? No, it's not. It's okay. You hurt, LaRon. You felt it. It hurt you. It's okay. And I rubbed myself. I showed compassion to myself. And then I was freed. Now I got the confidence to do what I need to do when I need to do it. But in order for me to get free from that childhood trauma of I'm not good enough, I had to write it down and go within. So identify the thought that you're saying to yourself first, and then question that thing to see, is it really true? And if it's not true, find out what really is true. And what's true is what benefits you to help you move in the right direction.
Now, isn't it enlightening when you realize that the problem is your dumb ass? It's great, man. I'm telling you, when you realize I'm the problem.
But right? The thing is, most people never find out because they don't know what they're saying to themselves, Lord. They're unconscious. I didn't know I was saying I wasn't good enough. I was my own worst enemy. No, you're right, though, bro. But most people just don't know because they never write it down. They just talk out loud. But when they're talking out loud, they're actually missing what they're saying to themselves. Look at that. But you're right, bro. You're right. You're right. It's us, bro. It's us, bro.
Have you ever noticed that this designer label in my shirt? Yeah, I got this designer label, and I got these Carl Kanai shoes on, and hey, this cologne that I put on, that's $300 a bottle. Yo, but this watch, hey, I don't front on nothing. This is nothing but the best. And that dude, is that your Lexus outside? Hey, hey, dude, the suit, hey, I got the best. I am the best. This phone, I don't toil with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I am what I wear, because I don't know what I am inside. And if you ever saw me with the stuff off, I'd be a mess. And I'll never let you see that. That's why you got to see what I represent, or better yet, you got to see what I think I represent, so that you won't see me.
I mean, on that note, I will say, people, you are rocking with the best. So we appreciate you tuning in with us for another Monday of Elevating Men. Brothers, it's been a minute. I've enjoyed myself just hanging out with you fellas, man. I've really enjoyed myself. It's always great to come back into this circle of brotherhood and get full again. And so, thank you for allowing me to hang out with you guys for a little bit. September 28th, people, be there.
Bring somebody. Spread the word. Come and volunteer.
/Elevating Men. Let's do this together. The number
be a
2.
Part of this.
Not by yourself. Together. Let's do this.
We need you. We need your help. Contact us before the 28th. Let's talk.
Hit us up. Let's do it. September 28th. Be in the building. Free 99. And this is going to be worth everything and then some. Trust me when I say that. I would never invite you to anything that AB is putting together that isn't worthwhile. No, I'm just playing. Before we go, I would be a jerk, a absolute jerk, if I didn't mention our brother A.L. Johnson. If you guys know what this brother has done in the background to put this together, oh my God. Yeah. I know, because I'm here with him, but the brother is phenomenal. So when y'all see him in the streets, when y'all see him on Facebook, say what's up to the brother, man. He is just a phenomenal individual. For your life insurance needs, there's no other brother, no other person to go see. A.L. Johnson Life Insurance Agency, for all your life insurance needs. That brother will take care of you 1,000 times over. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight, people. Thank you so much. Thank you. Not us. Thank you for tuning in. We rocking with the best, just like you rocking with the best. So see that together thing again. We do it together. It's a beautiful thing. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Everybody that tuned in and dropped a comment, we appreciate every single one of us. Every single one of them. I'm sorry. Next Monday, guess what? We gonna be here again, people. Why? Because together we can change the world. We can move mountains together. So until next time, eventbrite.com /Elevating Men. Get signed up for the Elevating Men Presents Mental Health Town Hall, 3200 Wayne, Robert Mohart Center. Be there. It is the place to be. Reschedule some of that other stuff and just be here with us. Have a good night, people. Love you. Peace.